When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.
Hey, welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drewbie Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing those stories to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community, because let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, you can create an amazing life in sales. And today's guest is no stranger to the journey. I'd like to welcome Justin Dickinson to the show. How are you, sir?
I am good, Drewbie. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I want to jump right in and I want to hear your craziest sales story.
I'm going to go with a little humor. This was previous to starting my existing company, but I was with a Fortune 100 packaging company and out there hunting for new leads, and there were some old guys that were passing on past accounts as well, existing accounts. And I'm at a golf tournament. We basically end up going us three to a Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's like 11 p.m. We played golf all day. We drinking, whatnot. And we get to Buffalo Wild Wings and it's like 11 p.m. And I decided that I didn't want to get my hands dirty at 11 p.m. And I went boneless wings. And I'm sitting there with the client who is I'm supposed to be taking on that client. And he basically said, like, this guy doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He's not my new guy. He's not my guy.
Oh, no.
And so it's just those little things, you got to know the right time, right place. And that was more of a farming than a hunting. I was getting past the client, but still you need to know who you're talking to, and you're only as smart as the situation requires.
I really love the perspective around that, because there's some people that may hear it and be like, oh, screw that guy. Like, I can't believe someone would be that way. But this is sales, and people are 100% that way. Some people are
a
so
big
petty.
Account,
And I love what you said, though, too, about knowing your audience. And I'm willing to bet that you learned a big lesson around, hey, man, next time I go to meet with somebody, I'm going to do a little bit of research and understand what triggers they have before I get into the room. And so I want to take it from there. Like, okay, so you're at the Wings. He says you're not the guy. Like, what do you do from there? How do you even did you ever get that account back? Like, how did you handle it?
No, they basically paid the old salesman to stick around and just handle this one account. So he had a cush little job and got to keep that, $15+ million account that would have been nice in my repertoire. But I think that's it, right? You always look for the light in the dark tunnel, and you learn from it. And those lessons you can't pay for,
Well, and you can't. And what I love about it is a willingness to admit that, hey man, school's kind of expensive. And if I'm trying to learn some stuff and I want to get out there and better myself, then there's going to be a cost. And sometimes that cost comes out of your ass in a way that you don't always expect. But, here you are. But all that to say, learning that lesson has obviously allowed you to progress and continue to grow in your sales career. So it sounds like that wasn't the last stop on your journey. How did you take that lesson and then progress into further sales opportunities from where you were? I mean, Fortune 100 company is pretty big, so I'd have to imagine some things had to happen to transition from there.
Yeah. So with that company, it opened the door for me to really go out and find emerging brands that had a higher commission rate. Um, so and open that door to really be a salesman more so than an account manager, because I do think they kind of can get gray, at least with some sales roles. You do a lot more admin than maybe people think. But fast forward to my renovation company now, where you're going into an initial walkthrough and you really need to feel where that person's at. You really need to customize it to, okay, they've got 2 kids, they've got 2 dogs, they've got $1 million house versus a $200,000 house. How am I going to approach this? And it's quick. You can't sit there and really always do your research, and plan ahead, for coming in with exactly what you're going to say. I think a lot of sales is very quick, knowing what to do when in a situation, and that's a split second thing. So you find that key point, and I do believe that good sales comes from passion, comes from believing in the product, comes from solutions that actually help the client, not just repetition over and over. So that's the fun part too. It's always changing. It's always different. Every client's different.
Well, and as I was looking through your profile before we started recording, you're in a particularly niche area of the construction reconstruction trade, right? You typically work on more historic style homes and things that have an aesthetic nature about them that are not common today. I know because my wife and I lived in a historic district here in, Toledo, Ohio area in the Old West End, where it was like homes were built in 1861 and 1905. And so it's a very different vibe. And the people who own those homes have a very particular way and vibe about them. And, you don't move into a historic home like that without having some quirks and some things about you that, go along with the character of the home. And so what you're saying in terms of the ability to quickly assess the individual, looking around to see what are their interests, hobbies, things that are important to them, and then being able to translate what you do inside the home to how it will make them feel like it's the home they are looking for while still maintaining that aesthetic old school vibe. And so that's the secret sauce in the research aspect to what we're talking about, that really only comes from you making the calls and having those conversations and going through and making mistakes. I would imagine having a couple of pitches go wrong and getting tossed out of somebody's house and being like, well, I guess I'm not that guy this time either. We're going to go for the regular wings instead of the boneless. But what would be a scenario like, early on when you started your company there, that you did get into a situation that you kind of almost learned a similar lesson, right? Like, oh my gosh, I better be aware of not making that mistake again.
No, I agree with everything you just said, Drewbie. 100%. These historical homes, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot that we don't know what's behind that wall. We don't know where that plumbing goes. We don't know if there's actually a beam where it should be, because it was built in the 1840s. We're starting on a project in a couple of weeks built in the 1840s downtown Portland, Maine. But that it comes back to expectations, right? So if you can sit there and explain, this is why I can't give you a solid price here. This is why I have to give you a range, without mansplaining or without kind of, and that's where you got to feel it. You got to know who you're talking to. And that experience is key. But to answer your question, when I first started, so I came from manufacturing, from packaging. Processes were huge. Everything was very counting pennies, right? And now I'm in small construction, which my partner is the expert there, and our team now. But going in the first few walkthroughs, it fake it till you make it, I guess. I hate to say that, but they're saying, what should I do here with the fridge? What should I do here with, and we didn't have that experience yet. But if you just put yourself out there and you're willing to learn, it's a steep learning curve. But in 5 years, I feel that we are giving our clients more than most. I confidently say that. And I'm not faking it anymore, And I say that with I probably shouldn't have said that, but fake it till you make it, in the sense of, hey, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do what's right for you, and I'll figure this out because we have the resources. I'll go talk to the appliance company and I'll get all this information, but never, that doesn't mean I'm lying. That doesn't mean I'm stretching the truth. That just means that I'm ready to figure this out for you.
Yeah, I've always been the same way with the whole fake it till you make it thing, because it's very cliche. There is definitely an air of truth to it. And at the same time, none of us want to deal with somebody who's being fake. And
you can feel that energy. You can feel that.
You know right away when someone ain't being who they're genuinely there to be. And what's interesting to me is it's really not about faking your skills. It's about faking your confidence. And that's the part that people get shook on, is you can go into a project with the skills that you have and still be a little unconfident about what the end result and expectation is going to be. Because as you mentioned, Justin, you get into some of these older homes, bro, we might find a dead body in there. We don't know. You can find, and the way that some of these guys that have owned the homes over the years fix things and did it without hiring the inspectors and all that. I know, because my grandfather was an electrician, and when we went to look at his house, it wasn't even historic, but we were looking through it, and my father-in-law is a contractor, and he's like, this is never going to pass code. We're going to have to do all of this. And then we were just he was an electrician and he knew it would work, so he didn't care. So he just did it the way that he always did it. And now we have to do it the right way. And the right way is not always the cheap way. And it's not always the way that everybody else thinks you should do it. And so in that situation, as you were mentioning earlier, the confidence to go in and tell a client, listen, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have to rip open that wall. And you and I both know nobody's been back there in 100+ years. So we're not really sure what to expect. So this is, you can more clearly explain the process and expectations confidently. And that's what you really have to just get good at. Faking initially is the confidence. Hey man, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to go through it. Because the moment that you're well, I don't know, we're going to get in there and it may be good, it may be not. And all of a sudden now their mind is in a completely oh my gosh, this is going to be way more expensive and I can't do that. And so setting the clear expectations, getting a good understanding and confidence in making it really easy for your customer, your client, to see that you're going to figure it out for them, as you said, because that figure it out part is the key to all of this. If you can figure it out, you're good. It's when you can't figure it out that you start running into some troubles. But when you can't figure it out, you go to the people who know, as you just said also. Hey, I'm willing and confident enough to go ask the appliance company or ask the manufacturers. And so when you were going down that path and starting to have this realization of sometimes you don't know what you don't know, how did you translate that to the guys on your team so that they could also have that level of confidence from you being on their team? Because as someone who, we have listeners that have a team, their team is lacking that confidence, but it can be translated from you. So how did you work on translating that confidence to your team as well?
That's another good question. I hired smarter people than myself in the construction world. Um, and I think just working to your strengths in general is huge, and admitting that you're not the person for the job, right? But that, my partner, business partner, he had a tough time with that at first. He was like, I'm a carpenter. This is what I'm good at. Let's hire this out to someone that does it every day. And that's hurting margins. That's, weren't doing as big of jobs then. So the good guys didn't even want to touch our little project.
Yeah.
And so I was the one kind of behind his expertise solution, coming up with solutions on, hey, why don't we just try it this way, and we'll figure it out. And fast forward to 6 years later, and now he is having fun because he knows I absolutely can figure this out. He's not scared of figuring it out anymore. I haven't done it 100 times, so I can't do it and say I'm a professional doing it. And now because I ask, well, why can't we try this way? What if we did this? Oh man, let's get creative here. And I think that that spreads with the whole team. And the way I like to look at it, and I believe it was Jeff Bezos, which take it or leave it, but he was like, there's two-way doors and there's one-way doors. Have you heard this?
I have not heard this, but now I'm really interested, so let's run with it.
There's two-way doors and there's one-way doors. A two-way door, you can go in, make a mistake, no big deal, cost less than $1,000, let's say. You come back out that door and you try again. So I make it a thing, if it's a two-way door, the team's going to try it. Half the time it works, half the time it doesn't. Then they do the option B. If it's a one-way door, this is going to cost us $50,000. And the good example is countertops. If we screw this countertop up, this came from Brazil through Europe to US, and there's only 5 slabs in the whole world left. That look just like this with the grain match that they want. This is a one-way door. Once we go through, we ain't coming back, right? And so recognize I'm never going to get mad if it's a two-way door, but the team needs to know when to ask for help. And that's also confidence, showing humility, right?
That is so good, Justin. I have never heard it broken down in that fashion. So kudos to you. Kudos to Jeff Bezos on that one. Like you said, take him or leave him. The guy does have some brilliant business-minded
he did something right.
phrases out there. So, like, I like Bezos's he has one about branding, and he's like, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And so, to your point, man, understanding how to give your team that confidence and the power to be able to understand, hey, is this a one-way door or is this a two-way door, right? Giving them the permission to make those choices based upon the clarities or the clarifications that you have. It's like, hey man, if it's going to cost us less than $1,000 to fix a mistake, if we make one, go make mistakes, because we're going to make $100,000 learning from that and being able to adjust and pivot. But the big stuff, we got to know is the big stuff, and we don't mess that up.
Yeah.
And so
that goes
I
back
really
to
like
that goes back to where we started, right? Is they're going to learn more than $1,000 worth from that lesson.
Amen to that. And man, we could probably sit and nerd out on this stuff for many, many hours, because I know this is just the tip of the iceberg, but I do want to respect your time, and I know there's more for us to learn. So how do we find you, follow you, check out more of your content, and go from here, brother?
cousinscomain.com. like you said, doing a lot of historical renovations and remodels in Portland, Maine area. Instagram tag, or what's it called? Instagram.
The handle.
Our Instagram handle is cousins.co.maine.
Right on. I will make sure we get all those in the show notes so everybody can find you easily. Because again, man, you guys, you have some cool stuff going on, and I know this conversation is just a small blip of some of the great content that you're putting out there. So thank you again for taking some time out of your day to be here with us.
I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Listen, if you guys enjoyed the show, you got some value out of it, go share it on social media. Tag me, tag Justin and the Cousins crew. Let them know you enjoyed this episode. Maybe you know somebody who has a construction business and they're like not doing good, like they suck at it. You don't have to say that, but send them this episode. Be like, hey, man, I was listening to this Call the Damn Lead show. There's this construction guy on there that's pretty good. I wanted to send it over. I think you'll get some value out of it. Because that's what this show is all about. Spreading the word, helping people get dialed in and understand that sales is the greatest job on earth if you do the work and if you trust the process. It will also lead you to some great stories. So if you want to be on the show, you got a story to share, head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your details. Get signed up. While you're there, grab a hat, keychain, t-shirt, wristband, something. Support the show. We'll see you guys next time. Go Call the Damn Leads.
When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.